Hello everyone, and thank you for coming by to my channel. I recently finished book 2 in the Diviner series, Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. Now, excuse me, I am a little cruddy, so there's probably going to be a lot of weird little jump cuts throughout this one. But book 2, it continues on with our YA paranormal alternative history book series. I finished the first one, bought the rest of the series, and I'm just probably going to blow through these before the end of the year because they are also just the perfect fall read in my opinion, because book 1 kind of gets us into that spooky season. Book 2 really gets us into there with like that Christmassy spooky season. I'm already on book 3, can't wait to see where that's going because all the time can be spooky season. Look at my shirt. I'm probably going to wear this shirt year round. I did get this off the TikTok shop. Not sponsored in any capacity. This is one of the longest books in the series. I believe this copy is around 600 pages. I did also listen to it as an audiobook because I had an 8-hour drive and it was available through my library. So I was also able to enjoy this physically and as an audiobook. Definitely recommended if you can swing it, if like your library has it. So there's always an option. After the events in book 1, the diviners, Evie O'Neill is living on the high life as the sweetheart seer. She has a radio show that she goes on divining different objects for entertainment on the radio. She is definitely living the good life, partying frequently, while also having a lot of new friends. She also is still getting into a lot of trouble, usually with the people she is staying in hotels at. While this is all happening, a sleeping sickness takes hold of New York City and no one knows exactly what is happening. When somebody contracts the sleeping sickness, they get red marks all over their body and they never wake up. Two dreamwalkers, Henry and Ling meet up in the dream world and start having a friendship. I read this one closely on the heels of the diviners. This one does not follow Evie O'Neill very much. This one definitely focuses on Henry and Ling because their diviners are more of the dream-esque. We still get to hang out with all the different characters, but the story mainly focuses, in my opinion, on Henry and Ling, and that's their mystery to solve. But they really don't do very much solving until like the book's almost done and they actually like try to commit to solving the mystery of the sleeping sickness. It was really interesting to see some of the bits with Evie though because of, in my belief, because of the things that happened in the book 1, we get to see how Evie is trying to mask and cover up some things that probably emotionally damaged her because there was a lot of shady shenanigans happening that were probably pretty traumatizing for her. Our dreamwalkers, Henry and Ling, are able to experience and manipulate the dreams in different ways. Ling is able to go into the dreams and actually find people who have passed on and bring them into the dream world and ask them questions and kind of see what's going on. While Henry is able to go into the dreams of people who are still alive and encourage them to change different aspects of the dream. They both have two different manipulations of it. Henry is more of a passive. He goes to that person, like Theta, for example. There is a scene where she's having a nightmare, not a very good dream, and Henry encourages her to change it. Theta is able then to change it, and Henry moves on. Henry is looking for Louis, who was his first love from Louisiana before he moved up to New York City. Now, he thinks that Ling would be able to help find him with Henry's help because Ling is able to find people who have passed on, and since Henry is able to go into people's dreams who are still alive, they will be able to find Louis. While this is going on, we do find out that the sleeping sickness is caused by a ghost that was found in the tunnels. I believe it's actually chapter 1 we get to see. I do like this. I really like how Libba Bray is taking, like basically giving us like what causes the mystery in the first chapter. It's not like something we find on in different ways. Like, we find out like different ways of like to solve the mystery, but like what causes the mystery, I love seeing that. In the first chapter, we get to see that some bones are found in a tunnel by a bunch of excavators who are trying to create more of the subway system in New York City. By doing that, they disrupt some bones. The ghost of those bones then affects one of the workers with the sleeping sickness, and he never wakes up. Then more and more people get this sleeping sickness. Then also what happens is there's monsters in the tunnels. They call them like ghosts, but they're more of like a physical apparition, and they actually start killing people, and they start actually consuming people who go down there or have been down there. They mention that like the city's homelessness problem starts to decrease, and you've got to know why. So with Henry and Ling spending more time in the dream world, getting to know each other, they also take that friendship out into the real world a bit. Now Ling is biracial. Her mother is Irish, her father is Chinese. Now, the first person to get sick with the sleeping sickness was a Chinese man in Chinatown. So the community starts to blame people of Chinese descent. So a lot of xenophobia that is kind of happening. And I did really like how she doesn't sugarcoat it too much. She definitely brings it to a point that's very direct without being overbearing to the story. Like, that is, we've definitely saw that happening, and it did happen, and it still happens, and it's incredibly wrong, obviously. Little tangent, sorry. In the dream world, Henry and Ling meet Wai Mei, who is another dreamwalker who's heading onto the ship to San Francisco, and then she'll take a train from San Francisco to New York City. I think that's what she said. And they both really kind of hit it off, Ling and Wai Mei. And Wai Mei is a much more advanced dreamwalker. She starts teaching Ling a bit more of like how to physically manipulate stuff in the dream, like taking a rock and then turning it into a teacup. So there's some really kind of cool things that they start to learn, and their powers and as diviners start to develop. Henry also finds Louis, and their reconnection is so cute and wholesome. I really quite enjoy it. Since they reconnect, Ling and Henry meet up almost nightly in the dream world, and they just start hanging out with Henry, Wai Mei, Ling, and Louis, and Gustav, their dog. A doggy is there. It's really quite wholesome and cute. I really enjoyed that whole scenery, but it doesn't move the story or the mystery along very much because they're really just kind of hanging out and vibing. I quite enjoyed it. Throughout the book, we obviously get to interact with the other characters as we did in The Diviner. So this is a multi-POV story with like main focus on different characters. Sam is still trying to find out more about Project Buffalo and the postcard that his mother sent him. That was a really interesting development in my opinion. That was some of my favorite interactions. Enlist Evie to help, and the best way they are able to do it is they form a alliance of sorts whenever Sam tells the newspapers that he and Evie are engaged. And this is a double-edged sword. Obviously, Sam Lloyd is definitely pretty frisky with some other women in the book. We definitely see some of that. And then we also see Evie definitely just resenting him, but also still having feelings for Jericho. While Mabel has very intense feelings for Jericho. She does a good job of making all these different points and plots just really line up. Evie gets a boost in popularity being engaged to Sam. Sam is able to go into different areas with the help of Evie. He also has Evie divine different things, trying to find out more about Project Buffalo and what happened to his mother. He's outed as a diviner, and so they become the divining couple or some very cutesy thing like that. She does a great job of the slang throughout the book, like copacetic, Jake, all sorts of different things that are very entertaining. Still has a lot of feelings for Evie, and he tries to go on to a date with Mabel, and Mabel thinks it's great that we're moving forward, the Operation Jericho is going to increase, But whenever Evie finds out, Evie is jealous, and she's very frustrated with herself about why she's so jealous. So it's very good to see Evie have to come to terms with those feelings in some capacity. To say that date goes very poorly. It goes okay. Like, Mabel enjoys it, but you know that she's frustrated. Is also struggling because somebody from her past has found her and is now taunting her with different flowers, and also struggling because of her divining power. Other characters do not know that she is diviner. Her power is like basically hot hands. She's able to create a ton of heat in her hands and cause fires. We get to see a lot of that, a lot more of her backstory in the first book as the reader, but none of the other characters besides Henry knows what's going on. Memphis's power is slowly coming back. We see his power slowly return in different instances in him trying to create things, or heal people, I should say, throughout the book. And it's very great to see that his struggle with his own power, and then also with the consequences that his power coming back does have. Obviously, my least favorite character is going to be Blind Bill Johnson. He's awful. He is a leech predator and just very disturbing. He enlists Isaiah, Memphis's younger brother, to have secrets, which just so many red flags. But this is also Octavia, who took in Memphis and Isaiah, and then Blind Bill saved Isaiah at some point, and so then to be so grateful, they have Bill become a long-term renter, but he doesn't really make any money, and I don't like Blind Bill. It's very lecherous. He leeches Isaiah's power from him. Isaiah's power is getting a lot stronger. His power is much more like seeing into the future. He gets to see a lot more of the crows, per se. Like, we learn more about the King of Crows through Isaiah because of his visions. It does definitely the main mystery, while leaving us with a ton of questions for book 3 and 4, which a second book really should. Because you don't want to know everything. You need to, it leaves you with enough of a package that you're happy enough to continue with this series. But you really want to see what happens next. Last little bit of the book felt really rushed compared to the different information we got throughout the rest of the book. We learned a lot about dreams and the psychology of it, while also having a lot of instances that did feel like filler episode or more of backstory for other characters. So it does a really good job. I just wish it didn't feel as rushed as it did. It was still a really great book. I really quite enjoyed it. I would definitely reread this whole series again. I haven't even finished it and I'm already talking about reread. Obviously, it's good. So I would give this 4 out of 5 stars just because there were some things that were lacking. It's also a second book in the series. A second book is really hard to give 5 stars, in my opinion, because it's supposed to leave you with questions. And that makes it frustrating. So if you like this video, subscribe, I'll see you next time. Bye.